After a very successful 16-part series of the International Advertising Association's India Chapter Mentorship Webinar, World Goes Digital, we welcome everyone to the second mentorship webinar on transformation in the digital era. Be it business transformation or even life transformation, it requires a great deal of courage, determination, and a burning hunger for innovation. Atul Khatri, here with me, leads the way in all three, from being a CEO to one of India's most entertaining stand-up comedians. A Mumbai-based businessman and computer engineer and British management scholar who got up late in life and decided to do English stand-up comedy. Believe it or not, yes, some people do take the untrodden path. CNN IBN recently rated him as one of the top 20 comedians in India to watch out for. He recently won CEO's Got Talent Award, competing against 11 other CEOs, right? And that was after shortlisting of many others. So it tells you how many talented CEOs we have in our country. So Atul, welcome to the show. So good to have you with us.
Thank you, Charulata. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's really an honor to come here for this webinar on a Friday afternoon and meet up with you and so many other people who have logged on. Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're lying. You could be somewhere else doing a much better Friday afternoon and
I would be in my work busy, you know how Fridays at work are. So you're looking forward to the weekend. So I think it's a lovely, refreshing change being here with you.
Yeah. But I must say, it's a little intimidating because I was expecting you to come in your jeans. So I decided to match up to that and come in my jeans. And you just did a flip on me and you've come in the most formal, impeccable dressed clothes,
because,
right?
You said CEO's got talent. So this is my only talent of wearing a suit and coming.
So there you go. So get ready for another 45 minutes, 50 minutes of a lot of laughter and fun with him. My first question to you, Atul, is I laid my hands on your card. Right? Okay. So I'm going to give you a close-up of this card. Okay, take a good look and see what it is. It's him in a Superman suit, right? So now explain that. A stand-up comedian who's actually in impeccable corporate clothes wearing this on his business card. Tell me about it.
Okay, so I run the Mumbai Marathon. I've run all the 13 editions of the Mumbai Marathon and always wear it in a Superman costume. And it's just one of those quirks. I think Superman was my childhood hero. So it's my yearly tribute to him of running on the streets of Mumbai in a Superman costume. And I carry it with a prop. So like this year, Bombay is going through a water scarcity. So I ran the half marathon. So I ran it with holding a bucket with Save Water written on it. Right. So every time I carry a prop, it's just fun, yeah. I enjoy running it, and that's how you should run.
And but the surprising thing is, it fits you. Last 13 years, you've been in the same suit.
Absolutely. It's going up and down. One year I remember very tight. One year it became loose. Now it sort of fits me. So I think I'm getting into the groove now.
I'm glad you do. So next time we're going to look out for this. So if you see the person in Superman suit, that's him. Okay, so that's it. And tell me, Atul, what was it like to make the shift from being a serious corporate CEO, most of us have to pretend to be serious, right, to a completely different line of life? And or do you say that it's the same thing? CEOs are stand-up comedians anyway.
In a way, yes. As you call them, chief entertainment officers, CEOs. But that's the thing that if the CEO doesn't come to work for years, nobody will miss him. But if the peon doesn't come for half a day, the entire office collapses. So that's really the importance of a CEO in a company. But having said that, I think it was midlife crisis. Honestly, I think I was just getting bored of what I was doing, and something was amiss in my life. And I'm glad I found this stand-up comedy route, and which was around 4 years back actually. To really start off with, it was a New Year resolution. I said 2012 I should do something different with my life.
Right.
So signed up for an open mic contest, and that's how I sort of got into stand-up comedy.
But there are a lot of students actually who've dialed in from various universities, and I believe they're sitting in their auditoriums as well, listening intently to you. You've done what a lot of young people in India want to do. Not necessarily to be a stand-up comedian, but to actually not walk the same path and go with the corporate life. And, it's an engineer, a doctor, corporate life, and the same thing. Yeah. They really want to try something different. Correct. What did you go through when you were doing it? Were there fears? Were there apprehensions that you won't succeed? Or is that something of a natural talent you felt you had?
No. It was, so I was having a boring job of a CEO of an IT company from 9 to 7. And, sometimes I should just change the route from my office to, rather than taking that same, take the other route just to make it more interesting. That's not how boring it was.
Right. Yeah.
So what I thought, I'll do something different. And but I think, currently the stand-up comedy scene in India is such that I don't think somebody can take it as a full-time career right up ahead. You'll have to get a little better in the line. You have to spend like 3-4 years then to sort of take it up professionally. but I think I was lucky enough that I got the break
Mm.
and at the right time, and got into stand-up comedy, and it's really changed my life actually.
So you said you got a lucky break, but does that mean that, it's a lot of young people do have a great sense of humor these days, especially in India. I see a lot of them have a good sense of humor. Do you have to rehearse this humor before you get on stage, or is it that it has to come spontaneously?
No. So let me tell you, stand-up comedy is a very, very serious business. It's a very, very difficult business, making people laugh, because thanks to YouTube and thanks to the digital platforms which are there, people are seeing the best of stand-up comedy in the world, and people are comparing you to them. So people have Russell Peter, they have George Carlin, they have the best. Everything is available on your phones today. So you have to be, and it's a difficult business because I know people know, but we don't take jokes from internet. We don't take jokes from WhatsApp forwards. We don't take sets of comedians which are there out there, change it or Indianize it and use it. We're supposed to write our own humor, and so it's a very difficult business. And stand-up comedy, whatever you've seen, to a large extent, it is a scripted set. It's you have to be writing. Yeah, so most of the comedians are writers, so we write each and every thing and a lot of things, but many times the interaction which you do with the audience on the thing, so one of the rules in stand-up comedy is that you have to address whatever happens in the room. So somebody laughs loudly or a different manner, you have to address that. Somebody drops a glass of water while performing, you have to address that. You have to address a lot of things in the room. So all that obviously has to be spontaneous. And if you come to a comedy club, you sit on the front row, so we have great fun with you guys. So that obviously is all
I know that there are many who want to sit on that front row. They want to get picked because that's their a little bit of moment in the fame.
They come. Some of them come prepared with their witty answers.
Of course,
but then we have to be even more wittier to sort of put them down and get them in their place.
So to be in this field, or to even be in the front row, you have to really have a very good sense of humor to be able to take that humor even if it's like a little bit like a personal joke on you.
Sure.
And even as stand-up comedian, you could be getting on the receiving side from the audience as well sometimes. So you really have to have a very good sense of humor, right? And so what do you have to say about that? I mean, do you feel that India has really moved and progressed in that quite a bit? Or
it has. I mean, I'm saying that today stand-up comedy, especially in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, and Pune to a large extent, has a lot of stand-up comedy happening. So people are getting exposed to it. And sense of humor is obviously a sense of sarcasm or sense of anti-establishment humor, which is sort of people are accepting that. But yet it's a long way to go. It's typically the kind of work which we do is, sort of just to the English-speaking sector. So the Hindi belt or the regional belt is still not covered with us. But that there has been stand-up comedy happening in those languages also since years,
But I've noticed something in the ones I've been watching recently. There's been a big shift from 100% English comedy to the punchline in any stand-up comedy now comes in Hindi.
That actually happens everywhere. I saw a show in Hong Kong where the setup was in English and the punch used to be in Chinese, because the local people sort of address like it, or they sort of they relate to it. It's actually the style of the comedian. Even I have some of those lines where my punch could be in Hindi, but it's an individual style of comedy, honestly.
You've done a lot of shows in Hong Kong, in the US, and some of the European markets. Now, if you can just share with the audience a little bit about how do you have to change and mold yourself to the cultural nuances of these places? And you have to be very, very sensitive. Not everyone has the same sense of humor. So you really have to be very careful. So what do you have? What's the prep you have to do?
No, so for example, like 2 years back, I performed in Netherlands for the Utrecht International Comedy Festival. And it was a very difficult room because we didn't understand it. So the Dutch, for example, they don't laugh out loudly. They laugh in their stomachs, and they smile. They don't like Americans, Indians, British, they laugh out loudly, Even the Chinese are very, very judgmental. So you have to understand the nuances. So, we used to wonder why these guys, and then after the show, they used to come and tell us, hey, you were amazing. I said, but you didn't laugh, So it was things like that, so then they told me that as long as they don't start chatting among themselves or go to their mobile phones and they're listening to you, that means you're doing fine. And so it's very, very different. Like I played in Hong Kong also. Now Hong Kong has got Chinese, Indians. It's a hot, it's a mixture of all communities. A lot of expat community over there. So you have Australians who will laugh out loudly. Americans and Chinese will be silent. They're judging you. They're trying to say, okay, come on, make me laugh, kind of thing. And it's amazing, So it sort of challenges you as a comedian to see that how so you have to observe a lot of things. Like in Netherlands, one of the other things which I observed was you have to be very animatic on stage. You have to do a lot of actions, In India, we
Right.
can just stand and deliver and said people will laugh. There, you have to enact a lot of things.
In India, people laugh before you've said anything.
Yeah, just because they paid the money, they said we have
They
to
just laugh, right?
Yeah.
And there are laugh tracks to help you as well.
No, yeah, not on stage.
Not on stage. Not
Yeah,
on stage.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Sometimes on television. So
Yeah.
that also brings me to one of the questions, and then we move on to something more on humor in the digital space.
Yeah.
A lot of the shows that we see now, there is still so much slapstick in Indian comedy, right? Why aren't we progressing to more witty comedy, right? We are witty in our normal lives, interactions with everybody. We're so witty. Why does it become slapstick? Is it because we believe it has to appeal to masses, and therefore we just make it so overtly humorous that it just doesn't?
If you're referring to some of the
ice.
TV shows,
Yes.
see, first of all, TV shows as such, they have to be, they have to go on the framework of you can't talk about sex, you can't talk about religion, politics. So it typically boils down to, little bit of cultural stuff, Gujarati, Sindhi, Punjabi kind of stuff.
You can't talk about it, but you can do all of that on TV.
You can do all that. You could, you can dress up in women's outfit. And,
you can do whatever on TV. You just can't talk about it.
You can't just do, and so it's. But I think it's evolving. It's evolving. We have such 40% of our youth is under 35 or something. The statistics are there. So those are the people who are watching us on YouTube, and they are sort of getting the humor. And I think it's a matter of time where stand-up comedy today also is really expanding, but I think it's just a matter of time before it explodes. And like people ask us that when are you going to perform abroad? I said, let me first address all the people in India.
Right, of course.
We've only done it in 4-5 cities. I want to go and perform in Lucknow, Nanded, Indore, Raipur, which I've incidentally done, or Ludhiana. There's no difference between a youth there or in Mumbai. In fact, actually, people over there have more money than the young people here.
So, would you agree with me? I'll just move tracks on the conversation a bit. Would you agree with me that for a lot of the young people, for today's young India, the digital mediums and the platforms of YouTube and WhatsApp and Facebook have been great equalizers?
Absolutely.
And that's really made all the young people really almost align on their thinking, on their approach to life and their outlook.
Absolutely. Like I have two teenage children, and they never watch TV. They're all the time either on the iPad or on the phone. They're, they watch TV serials there. They're totally on cue. They're on Twitter. They know. And, as you know, some of the social media platforms, they break news faster than any other medium, Like
whether it's true or not.
Yeah, whether it's true or not, whatever. Yeah. But so they're totally cued on to the system. And that I've seen is happening across,
Right.
So, like I did a show recently in Indore, and first time there was a comedy show happening in Indore, and we were obviously as a comedian, they understand you because Indore speaks a lot of Hindi. But I had such a great time. I didn't feel I was in Indore or in Bombay, honestly speaking. They were getting all the references, they were getting all the punches, political news and things.
So they're more aware because of what media has digital media has opened up the world to them a lot more.
There's no doubt about it.
Right.
And that's really an audience. Like my parents have watched my show once and they didn't get me. They still prefer Kapil Sharma on comedy nights, but they said, "Beta, tum kya baat karte hai? We don't understand." So it's perfect, it's fine, But so my children understand my humor, my wife understands my humor, so it's okay,
Yeah, and tell me something. I mean, the opening up of digital media with YouTube, Facebook, and all of this, and the way news really spreads like wildfire, whether it's true or not, it does spread. Has that helped performers like you to spread these social cause messages a lot more powerfully and bring your point of view and representing a lot of people, their points of view to the public a lot better?
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about it. See, what has happened is thanks to social media. Hey, let me tell you honestly, some of us exist because of social media.
So on that, do you feel that now it's been a lot better for you, for your kind of performers, because you're getting a much wider audience and platform than it used to in the past with just traditional media to just talk about
like some of my colleagues, like even I'm a part of a collective called East India Comedy. So whenever we have shows, the last time we didn't even put a single advertisement in paper, but we just tweeted about it, and thanks to a number of followers and all, we could fill up shows. So actually it's really cut off our advertisement cost if you really look at it. Sorry, advertisers.
That's true. Bad news for advertising.
So the other people who follow us, they really know our humor. They want to come to our show. They are fans, followers, whatever. So coming back to your earlier question, yes, in terms of social causes, social media has been a great platform where you can express your opinions, and people who follow us, who get influenced by us, as long as our ideas are put across properly, and at least in my case, I try to see that I don't, if I have a point, that there should be some humor to it.
Right.
I will not just express my opinion unless I have an angle to it or an opinion in it, and I have to stick by my opinion.
So, social media has actually made it very, very difficult for brands to now manage their reputation because it spreads like wildfire. We know what's happened. Some of the biggest iconic brands, and they've been affected very badly because of a piece of news really kind of spreading everywhere all over the country and jeopardizing its very existence. Has that ever kind of happened to you? And how have you managed that online reputation for yourself?
Currently, honestly, very honestly, I'm not too big on social media. But since now I look as myself as a influencer, I probably think twice before I tweet something, because first of all, I should just not tweet. I don't tweet when I'm drunk. Right. So that it's a wrong message going out, or things there. So you
have good advice to all the students watching us.
Anything.
Stay away from social media when you're drunk.
Absolutely. Right. Especially Twitter and Facebook.
Especially Twitter and Facebook.
And so
Snapchat would be good.
Snapchat would be amazing.
Goes off very quickly. Absolutely.
But so you have to be very careful of what you're tweeting, and so there's a responsibility. Like honestly, when as a comedian, when I perform in a city like Indore or Raipur, I still do a very basic comedy stuff. I don't talk about politics. I don't get too much into religion, even though I have some set of my views on it. Because when people are watching stand-up comedy for the first time, you don't want to scare them. There's a responsibility as a comedian. So people who are watching stand-up comedy the first time in a place like Indore, and I go all over sex or politics or dark humor, black humor, I say, what? This is English stand-up comedy? Okay, I don't want to watch it.
Right.
Even though I may have an opinion. So we have a little role to play, because most of us are one of the first or second batch of stand-up comedians in the country, actually, because the line is so new. It's just 4 or 5 years old.
That's right.
So we have a little responsibility towards both on social media as well as on live when we are on stage, in terms of seeing. So many times we judge the crowd, So all of the comedians, we have like a test joke what we release, It could be a sex joke. So once we release a small sex joke and see a lot of applause, oh wow, this crowd can take sex jokes.
Right.
Or if they do okay, no, let's move ahead, let's do something else. They do more simpler stuff, So that's typically how it
works. So you have to think on your feet real time.
Absolutely.
Right?
You have to judge the crowd, you have to keep on watching them.
So very real time change responses, very real time change the mood and gel in with what the audience may be expecting. Right?
That's actually happens with time, with practice, and how much time you spend on stage. Typically.
Yeah, but very often we've seen instances of politicians getting very upset with what common people say or do, even and by mistake. Thank God for more icons rather than likes and dislikes. Now we can say something more.
Correct.
But if you just press like by mistake, just because you've just wanted to share it, then several people get offended, and we've seen that in the past. Has that ever happened to you, that you've said something on stage and you've offended people in authority?
See, today, let me tell you, people get up every morning on social media and say, come on, offend me. They try to find offense even in a stupid joke. They try to read between the lines. Oh, there is something over here. Like I tweeted a movie. I'll share a tweet. Like I said, I went to watch Nirja and I cried a lot. Not because the movie was emotional, but because of the amount of money I spent on tickets, popcorn, and samosas. Okay. And at PVR, and people said, how can you offend Nirja? She saved our lives of 339 people. Stupid, where my joke is, first read my joke, So once there was a news which said that I think it was Nala Sopara has going to be getting free Wi-Fi. Okay. So I said, great to know Nala Sopara, glad to know that they have electricity, And I got calls, I got messages. Hey, you idiot, you come to Nala Sopara, we'll cut your throat. We'll show you how it's better than you South Mumbai. I said, first of all, not from South Mumbai, I stay in Andheri. So chill, So the people are telling just get up every morning, please offend me. And I think thanks to the amount of elections we are having in the last years, we have either the national election or we had some state election, and all these trolls and other people have got onto social media. So I think just people are getting up in the morning and saying, chalo, let's have a fight somewhere, So they're removing their frustration. Let's have a boxing match on Twitter every day,
Of course, I think that's really happening everywhere. Tell me something again, jumping back to your corporate life, right? What really pushed you out of this corporate life, and what learnings did you bring from the corporate life into your new avatar as a humorist, as you call it, on your card? So what are there any learnings from the corporate life you brought with you, or was all that experience completely wasted and your new life started?
You can't do that. I mean, I spent 25 years of my life as running an IT company. You can't just throw it away. You can't just remove a memory chip and throw it away. Okay, I'm starting it fresh. So for example, and it's helped me because we used to work a lot with Wipro in my business, and we were part of they had the Six Sigma quality initiatives, and I worked personally on a lot of these initiatives. And one of the things which I learned from Mr. Mr. Azim Premji also had a project in Six Sigma where he had a thing of replying to emails. So if you send an email to Mr. Premji, and he used to reply it either through his or through his secretary, but he had a time within 10 minutes or 5 minutes, they have to reply to the mail, whatever the mail it would be, yes, no, whatever. So for that matter, some of the things obviously I've gotten, like for example, I get a mail today for asking for a corporate show. I make it a point to see that I respond it very fast. I see that my quotations which go out, or my proposals which go out for my shows are in a proper format. I try to bring some professionalism into it. Whenever I go for a show, I see that I'm well dressed, because when people are paying you good money, you have to go well dressed on stage. You can't go in chappals and Bermuda shorts, but some of the comedians
so you have to either go in a suit or in a Superman suit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Superman's
you
only
really well dressed, right?
So some of these things obviously you bring back. You can't just throw that life away and say that.
Yeah. So I think that's a very important learning. I would like the students who are watching us to take away, saying, anything that you've done in your life doesn't get wasted.
Nothing.
Because everything adds on to the experience that you need for your future direction you might want to take, even if you change courses, because that's really important to learn from all of that. Bring that professionalism, imbibe that, and bring it into your new life as well, and see how that can really improve whatever you're doing.
Like one of the things which I always had, right, other than replying to emails, was seeing that because in Bombay, I'm from Bombay and Mumbai, sorry, and
I'm not offended. I'm not a politician.
You don't know, somebody might just get so the thing is that so time is a currency in Bombay. Time is currency. So coming for meetings and all, I used to always reach on time or before time. And if you talk about in stand-up comedy today, as a stand-up comedian, if I am allocated 20 minutes of stage time, many comedy clubs, even if you go 1 minute or 2 minutes more than your time, they feel upset. They can throw you off the list next time, because stand-up comedy is all about timing. Yes.
Right.
So suppose there's a show with having 4 comedians, each doing 20 minutes.
Right.
Everybody has to stick to 20 minutes, however well they may be doing on stage.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of comedians, what happens is that when they go on stage and they're doing well, they want to hog the limelight. So they can go for 20, 25, 30, but so timing is very, very important. So that's one of the learnings which I've learned, that how important timing is. Some of us carry stopwatches. Some of us tell some friend in the audience to give me a light, so to warn me that I should get off the stage, because it's all about timing. So I think all this learnings is very important, and I think I've got it on stage or in my this new career of mine.
So Atul, another question that young entrepreneurs often ask us is, we have an idea, we have an innovation, and we want to go to market with it. We want to scale it up, or at least start in some small way, but we have no funds, we have no budgets, and we don't have the big backing of investors behind us. Now, with someone like you had the talent, which means the product was just right? If I were to draw parallels to it, how did you manage to really reach out to the masses? How did you manage to reach out to the people you wanted to? Did you use social media? How much of it did you use? What did you do with your WhatsApps or your Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter? And what did you do with it?
So I'm actually I tell people that I exist as a stand-up comedian thanks to Facebook, to be honest, because when Facebook came, I think 10 years back. I used to, that was the first sort of platform you got as a person to express your opinion. Twitter came later on. Orkut was before that, but thankfully I didn't go into Orkut. But
you would have been history by now.
Yeah. So I used to, even today, I see to it that I release 4-5 posts or tweets every day based on what is happening. If you've been a Mumbaikar, there has been Nana Chudasma.
Yes.
He has this banner on top of the town at Churchgate, which was every, so I used to come out with my Facebook posts every day, 4-5 on what is happening, on the globe. Because if you open a newspaper today, you have 5 hours of comedy material staring at your face. So I used to do that, and people would say, "Hey, you're very funny. Why don't you try your hand in stand-up comedy?" And that was that's what in 2012 where I said, okay, listen, I am funny. People are telling me. People used to tell me, I get up in the morning, I log on to Facebook, read your posts, and log off. So I thought there is something in it. And honestly, before the pre-Facebook era days, if I had a funny blog or something, I used to actually put it on an email and send a mass email to all my friends and things like that. And I used to get their responses and things pre-Facebook. But then
Right.
when Facebook started, obviously I started putting my posts on Facebook. So that really helped me. People say, hey, you're funny. Stand-up comedy is new. Why didn't you try your hand at stand-up comedy? And that's exactly why I did that. So it was 2012. I said, okay, let me do something different with my life.
Right.
So it was 2nd Feb 2012, which was the first open mic which came, and I went and signed up for it. And I didn't tell anybody. I just told took my wife, didn't tell the children also, and told them we're going out for dinner. And I said, she told me, you really want to come? What if you bomb? And I said, no, you come with me, because it wasn't Worli. I said, if I don't do well, I'm gonna just jump off the Worli ceiling or something. So you come with me, and fortunately I did well.
Right.
And so then it started sort of the journey where the other comedians who saw me, they say, hey, you're funny, why don't drop it, keep at
Sure.
it, so then I started taking part in the other open mics which happened. And that's really the way you get into comedy. You do open mics, which are happening today in most of the cities today, so everybody can do it. And then you do open mics, then you get open spots. That means within main acts, they give you 5 minutes, 7 minutes. And then you sort of start writing more till you have a good 25-30 minutes where you put them as a headline act.
Right.
And that journey took me, I started in Feb, and by September I was doing my 30 minutes of headlining.
Great. So you said Facebook really helped you.
Absolutely.
So just like, you had
and Twitter as well, because now, I mean, we are on Twitter, continuously just, having fights, offending people.
Of course. You have to have a good sense of humor for that. So just like, earlier one had whatever year BC and AD, now it's before Facebook and after Facebook. So I like the way you kept saying it. So you're from the before Facebook era, but jumped onto the Facebook bandwagon. Right?
Yeah, and I think social media.
And kids here would not even know what before Facebook meant.
Yeah, correct. It meant actually writing letters, inland writing.
Writing letters, ink and pen.
Yeah.
Oh, post office what?
Going to your friend's house and with your photo album, them showing them actual photo. This is my trip.
None of this is going to exist really anymore. Yeah, it's just some of us who hold on to that.
Yeah.
So just coming back to another question is, if you were to give some advice to people listening in, saying, if they wanted to change tracks from what they're doing, what are the few key things they must keep in mind before doing that, before jumping into it? Is that safe to just give up and abandon what you've done and just get into something completely new? Or how would you suggest that they approach it if their passion was somewhere else, but they were caught up doing something else?
Correct. In fact, that's a question I get after a lot of my shows,
right.
because I do corporate shows, and most of the senior management, mid-management have this thing, somebody wants to start a restaurant, somebody wants to be a painter, somebody wants to learn a guitar, but has never got the time, So I used to always tell them, first of all, you have one life. I don't believe in 9 lives and things like that, or karma, or whatever things like that. You have one life, and honestly, one of the other reasons why I got into comedy or thing was that I sort of, I used to, when I get old, I don't want to look back and say, oh shit, I should have done that, it could be as stupid as getting out of a car and dancing in a barat, sometimes you want to do that, but so I think first of all, you have to be very passionate about it. It's a lot of hard work, you have to be humble, kill all your egos. Like when I'm still a CEO of a company, but when I used to go for comedy shows, I used to actually go and beg the comedy owners or just hang around over there, and tell them, okay, give me a spot, please give me a spot, try me out. So it was, I cannot be saying, hey, I'm a CEO, this is my number, call me when you want,
right, Sure.
So I think you have to kill all your egos and, be humble, be good to people, because then you get good to people, then, you get that reciprocate back. So I think it's passion, a lot of hard work, and like in our line, the hard work is going on stage as much as possible, writing as much as possible. So if I relate it to stand-up comedy, that's exactly whatever you do. And I think if you're passionate about something, that will come out from inside, and you will excel at it. There's no doubt about it.
Atul, what I hear you saying, I think I want to repeat that, because I think it's a very nice thought there that you brought out. You are still a CEO, which means you haven't abandoned your corporate life completely, right? So today's new world in the digital space allows you to really not just transform, but adopt something more of a dimension in addition to what you were doing. Correct. It allows you that space.
Yeah.
I don't think we had that opportunity earlier,
absolutely,
right? And today we have the opportunity to say, I'm doing this, but let me do something else as well. And let me try something else as well, correct, right? And that is something that today's digital world allows you to explore different dimensions of your own life.
Yes.
So would you say that's true? And would you say that's happened because if today, let's say digital wasn't there, social media wasn't there, would you have been able to make that transition as easily?
I would have still put my shot to it. But I think it has been much easier thanks to digital, thanks to social media, thanks to the digital platform. Like for example, I'm a part of a collective called East India Comedy,
Right.
and we come out with a lot of YouTube videos and sketches.
Yes.
And things like that. We have a Bollywood awards shows coming up. So the thing is that has really helped us to increase our base. So today we get calls from all over the world. People saying, hey, why don't you come and perform in Dubai, in Singapore, in West Indies, in some weird island somewhere. You see, Indians are everywhere today.
Right.
And these are the Indians who are opening up to this. So coming back to your earlier question is, yes, I think social media today or digital platform allows you to, you could, if you're passionate about cooking, you require there are superstars on YouTube like Superwoman and so many of them, who are people don't know about, who started off recording things on their iPhone, putting it up on YouTube, for example. And today they're superstars, earning millions of dollars, every year, thanks to just being on digital platform.
That's it.
As simple as that. But yeah, you have to be innovative. You can't this things, and this is getting more difficult now.
Yeah, but tell me, there's so much clutter out there in that space. I mean, you say that with East India Company. Yes, I've seen so many of your videos. In fact, they're hilarious.
East India Comedy. Yeah.
I'm sorry, East India Comedy. It's the same thing, as comical as that. But anyway, I've seen so many of your videos. But there's so much clutter in that space right now, right?
Yeah.
How do you break that clutter? That's not easy. I mean, that's not easy. Everyone wants to do videos and put out content.
Yeah, everybody wants to put a viral video. That's
exactly, and everyone thinks it's going to go viral. Everyone thinks it's funny when they post anything. Their dog kind of tripping over a donut, or their child having giggles, or peals of laughter. Everything seems funny to everyone who's recording it.
Yeah.
How do you break that clutter and get through that?
I think finally at the end of it, it's your writing, it's your material which will make it viral. And yes, you do have a reach, you do have your thing, but I think at the end of it, it's your material, and you have to go at it. I mean, it's a difficult line. It's getting more and more difficult, the digital space. We were lucky that we were there 4 years back, so we were the first movers kind of thing. But I think it's at the end of it, I know it's a very corporate thing, but it's hard work, perseverance, and you have to keep at it.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
And keep your sense of humor completely intact. That is there. So just coming to your personal side, you did mention that you wanted to give up this 9-to-5 job and 9-to-5 restraint that was kind of hounding you and shackling you up.
Yeah.
So now that you've freed, so you went into a 6-to-9 kind of a moment,
actually,
okay? Yeah. So now you've gone into a 6-to-9 moment. So tell me and tell everyone else out there, what do you now do with your 9-to-5?
By the way, still I'm doing my work, my corporate work. So in fact, I think I'm working much more harder than what.
But we already established CEOs don't do too much work.
Yeah, I know, but
you still have a lot of free time in 9-to-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I'm at work till regular. I work at like 9:30, 10,
right.
And I'm at work till like 2:33. Then I go to my East India Comedy office, and then I'm working from 3 to 8 there, 3 to 9 there. Then probably going for shows. And I enjoy obviously that part much better than the earlier part, and it's actually getting difficult. And but I think also I have a lot of good support from my family, my wife, children, who are saying, okay, just go and do outlet, And honestly speaking, my wife's support helped a lot, because there was a time when my kids were really growing up, I mean, getting into college and things like that. And she said, no, you go out and do your work. I'll do all that, running the college admissions and school admissions and things like that.
Right. So has the reverse helped you? Like, okay, breaking away from the corporate world a bit helped you to explore your new side. Has bringing all this humor into your life helped you to really work through your corporate life and improve the way you operate there?
So funny thing, what happens is, like, sometimes, like, in my business, I had customers, and some customers you lose because of whatever reason, because of they went somewhere else or things like that, or you get them bad service or whatever. So it has been happened that some of the customers have come to my show, didn't know that I was doing stand-up comedy, and in the show they say, oh, this guy, I think I've seen. Oh yeah, he used to supply computers to my office, And after the show they say, oh, do you remember I have some so company? I said, yeah. So he said, oh, amazing. Are you still? Yes, you take my card. Meet us. We need some more computers from you.
Good.
So because now they said, okay, yeah, he's a funny guy, probably,
So moral of the story, having a good sense of humor can actually increase your business.
Possibly it can increase your business. So it helped me in that way. And now, so I have customers who also tell me, hey, can I remove a selfie from you because my daughter wants it or my son wants it, because they're big fans of you. We don't know you're so big, but they think you're a superstar. So I said, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. And just tell me one more thing, that what do you think is your idea of a happy place to work in? What should be a lot of people are watching you are also corporates today, and a lot of students are going to get to that corporate life and become leaders. What's a happy place to work in?
Obviously happy places work too is like you have to get up every morning and say like, yeah, I want to go for work.
Right.
If anytime you think, oh shit, I have to go for work, you're probably doing the wrong place, wrong job, or the place is wrong, or you are probably not suited for the job. It's a variety of things. The entire atmosphere, the culture of the office. It could be as stupid as wearing whatever you want to come in. I used to actually hate it but we used to do it in my office also. Everybody has to wear trousers, shirt, polished shoes, and things like that.
So have you changed that to everyone can come in shorts and
No,
t-shirt
not really,
in your office?
not really.
No, you
because
haven't.
some of our engineers have customer-facing jobs.
Oh, so they can't go in shorts and t-shirt.
Yeah, they can't go in shorts. They think probably the company is closing down. That's why, or they've not got salary. That's why they cut their shorts and they come. But I think simple things like that. Just giving them free food, if nothing else.
So that's a happy place.
Could be a happy place. Could be just the decor of the place. I think a lot of these things is a mix and match of, and I think, but finally, is the culture of the company. Which really, if it this, I have a lot of my colleagues who are comedians who also do full-time jobs, and some of the jobs are such where their bosses say, yeah, go and do stand-up comedy. It's okay. You can get out of the meeting at 6 o'clock, go and pursue your thing. So I think places which also offer you to do your own stuff today, I think that's really
So I remember that I come from a time, of course, I guess many of us do, where it was very clear in your contract that you could do nothing else but the job that you were doing. You couldn't, you had to reveal this to the company, and you were not allowed to do anything else on the side, make money on the side, and
correct.
Can't pursue anything else in life except what you're doing as a job, right? Correct. But that's changed a lot. All the organizations are recognizing that people have different sides to them, and if you do not encourage that, they won't get the best productivity from this person in their organization as well.
Yeah, today it's all about people. If you have a good guy who wants to probably learn the guitar at 6 o'clock or want to attend a dance class, but you say, no, I can't let you do this because we are a television. It's all gone now. I think that if your employee is happy, he'll again give back because he know, but probably that this opportunity no other company could give him.
True. And I know a lot of people, even in our organization, we have a lot of people who've actually done something new on e-commerce. They've started their own kind of portal. They've started their own business online, however, in a small way. But I think they're all exploring and doing something interesting, something new. And that is bringing some innovation back into the organization as well.
Absolutely.
Do you encourage that in your organization? Do you encourage?
We are a very small organization, but yes, I do encourage. In fact, I've been telling, ever since I started doing this, I should tell a lot of my engineers that, listen, when you go home at 6 o'clock, what do you do? Let me know. I want to sit up with you and say, what do you do? If you go home and just sleep and watch TV, you're probably doing something wrong. Probably take up a job. Like I told one of my peons, take a driving class and probably get onto Uber or something and probably work till from 7 in the evening to 1 o'clock in the night, make some extra money because Bombay is a difficult place to live in. To survive. And unless I think you have unless a very fat job or unless you have 2-3 other things going on, it'll be very difficult. Or if everybody in your company, in your family is not earning money, very difficult city to survive in.
So someone like you, what kind of person would you hire in your organization? What do you look for? Do you look for the serious professional candidate, or do you look for someone with a good sense of humor? What kind of a personality would you look for to hire?
And personally, if you really look at me, I would look at educational qualification. Obviously, that goes without saying. He has to suit the. Coming back, absolutely basics. If you really ask me, I say I look at people who have stayed long in the previous company. Number one, number two, their CV, the richness of the CV in terms of what else, the extracurricular activities. I would really look at it. Like I remember once taking a guy who used to run the marathon. The half marathon. I'm also a very passionate half marathoner, and he was also very passionate. So I felt a connect there in terms of. At least he goes back. There is some, other thing other than just going back home and just, crashing and coming back again will think, oh my God, like one more day I have to spend in this company, So I do look at people who will have, more to just their work, definitely.
And that's important. I think
very important.
Very important takeout for those watching us, saying that,
it could be over the weekend. I know sometimes, it's very easy saying that, but somebody has to travel from Andheri to Thane every day. By the time the poor chap reaches home, it's like 9 o'clock in the night,
Sure.
He doesn't have really time, but on a weekend or things like that, something they have to pursue.
Yeah, true. So tell us a little bit more about some of the funny moments that you have faced in life and that's really got you cracked up.
So it happened recently where I got a call from like a lady who said that, hey, listen, do you perform in private events?
Right.
I said, yes, I do perform. So she said, okay. I said, how many people? So she said, I said, what's your guest list like? How many people? So she said, we have our guest list is around 10, but we sure that 8 ladies will come. I said, what time is it? She said, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
I said, okay, is it a kitty party? She says, yes, it's a kitty party. Because we have a thing in kitty parties that every time a member has to get. So last time we got a guy who came and taught us how to do pottery. Before that, a guy who came and showed us. So this time I thought I'll get a stand-up comedian,
Right.
And so I said, listen, but there are a whole lot of sex jokes and all. She's saying, yeah, amazing. Don't worry. Go for all the sex jokes. Then I told her, listen, I was trying to avoid it. I said, listen, it's best that we do it in the night where people are drunk and all. She's saying, don't worry, you come. I'll see all my friends are drunk by the time you come, So I called up my wife. I said, listen, I think they're looking for a different kind of a stand-up.
Did you give them the number of Chippendales or something?
So I told my wife, what should I do? And she said, as long as you're getting paid, just do what you want.
That was funny. Okay. So, well, I guess, it's also showing that more and more people are kind of shedding their inhibitions.
Yeah.
And I think humor helps to do that, to be very honest.
Yeah, of course.
The serious side of humor is, I think humor does help you to shed inhibitions. Humor does help you to express a lot better. And humor does help you to get by through life much, much better.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I were to draw parallels into, let's say, young kids, not just college kids growing up, what would your take be in terms of the education that young kids are going through today? There seems to be so little humor in their lives. I feel really sorry for them.
Yeah. I think there is this, but I think the new curriculums are, like the IB or the ISC or the ICSC kind of curriculums. I think they are, like I had one of my relative who was not doing very well in the regular ICSE curriculum. He did a different board, I think, to the IB board, and he's very excelled. I think the things are changing now. It's very, very rapidly changing the way they are teaching, the way even the teachers who are coming are young teachers. They're not the typical people who used to come with canes and beat us like at a time when I went to school.
Did you get beaten up?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You did?
Yeah.
So what did you do then? Just tell her a joke or something to punish her?
No. That time I was too young to. I was just kept quiet and take all the beating. But yeah, I think things are changing now, and the new India or people who are growing up. See the difference in the US and UK, they had the comedy culture has been there in the institutes. If you go to Harvard or any of these any other university in the US, every Tuesday they have an open mic night. Right? Anybody can come and talk. So it's been there since 80 years. In India. So whenever now I go and perform in different colleges in India, I tell them, please start. You have a dramatics division or a whatever English. Please start a comedy division also. Just inculcate the thing of stand-up comedy. Let people come. It should just be free. It has to be a free thing where in the amphitheater you can just come, put a mic, speaker, give everybody 4 minutes of time, let they come and speak. And as I just said, a lot of students are watching me today. I will tell them to probably do that in the same institute. Just start this. The concept of it will help people in the oratory skills. It will help them write better. It will think better. And think funny also. Just do it. Have it once in every 15 days or once in a month in your college. That's it. That's how the comedy culture starts. I went to Hyderabad 6 months back. There were 3 stand-up comedians only. I went day before yesterday. There were 22 stand-up comedians.
Really?
Because there's one guy who came up and started the scene of let's have an open mic night every twice a month.
Was this in a university?
No, it is outside. But I'm just telling you. But this should happen in universities.
Sure.
It could happen in large campuses like Infosys or Wipro or things like that. Give them a voice, give them a place, let them come and talk what they want to. It could be anti-establishment. It could be actually making jokes on the company.
Yeah, sometimes it goes a little too far.
No, but I'm saying as long as it's controlled and things like that. Yeah,
of course. Sure. And I think the important thing is that can humor be acquired? Because it's important for everyone to be humorous. I think it's important for everyone to have that sense of wit and a sense of calm and humor in them. But can it be acquired, or is it something that some people are just born with? And
no, I think if you work hard on it, it can be acquired.
Can you imagine working hard on being humorous?
Yeah, I mean, probably
to do it.
Reading the right books, reading the right, people ask me that. There's a question which I commonly get is, were you funny right from childhood, or things like that. So honestly, if I look back, I used to hate going for sad movies or sad plays. I used to hate going for plays. I remember going for a play to a very serious kind of a play at Prithvi. and I dozed off. And I think it was Dinesh Thakur, he's a very famous
Yes.
actor. He like looked at me and said, "Get out! You know, how dare you sleep in front of me? You know." So those things also happened. So I used to like this funny plays. I used to like reading funny books and things like that. You know, get away from this. So somebody tell me, let's go for this movie. I should say, okay, which is a funnier movie? I should go for that. And so in every also group there is this. One guy who's even in your friends circle. There will be one guy or lady who would be the funniest one. You know.
Right.
So it could be you, perhaps. I don't know. So, but
Perhaps.
so there is a little bit acquired where the person looks at things differently. But obviously, having said done that, I mean, you have to put it on paper. You know, a lot of time people think it's very easy. They tell us, do you get drunk? Because give me 3 beers, or 4 beers, I can go on stage and I'll be funny. You know, that's good up to 1 or 2 minutes, but doing for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you cannot do that.
Yeah, being funny is serious business.
Absolutely serious business.
Totally is.
Yeah. Like some of us, most of the rules of stand-up comedy, we don't drink before going on stage because you should not forget the lines. You should be quick on your feet because obviously alcohol does slow you down, or your Yeah,
I agree with that. And I think even in India today, I live very close to the comedy club. Yeah, that's where it is, and I do visit this place once in a while. And I think it's very intense. I think comedy is intense, right?
Yeah.
And I agree that I think sharpening those skills can come out of reading a lot of these books, which can be humorous. I used to completely indulge in Irma Bombeck's, as well as a lot of the, even Oscar Wilde is hilariously witty and amazingly funny and humorous. So I think reading helps you. But are you still reading books, or do you do Kindle?
No, I still read books.
You haven't taken to Kindle yet?
No, I'm not taking to Kindle or to the iPad or the ebooks. Just I think, and if you look at it, really, the books, Kindles and all have been dropping. Last reviews, Amazon and in fact started a bookstore back again in the US.
Yes.
So because people have, I think the electronic thing, at least on the books, is already, I think that battle is lost. So books are coming back in a big way, and so I'm a books guy. I can't possibly think of taking on a Kindle. I think that just the experience, the smell of the paper is not there.
I tend to agree as well. I do. I use both. Okay. So I use Kindle as well as this. It's good when I have to travel a lot because then I use the Kindle. Otherwise, I think the smell of paper is very nice and gives you the good feel of what the story could be all about. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
So tell me anything else that you want to about how you've actually taken all your humor. And you said that, you are writing your own script, right?
Yeah.
And artists like you have to often write your own script because you can't be repetitive. You can't take it from WhatsApp. You can't take it from those which are already published. And in the social space, there's so much funny stuff floating around, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Don't you find that hard? Is there anything more funny to be said or done? I mean, every morning I wake up, there's like a barrage of funny things which are poured in, along with those posters of roses and good mornings and the most annoying things that come in your in mail. But there's a whole lot of these cartoons and quips and everything else.
It's all been all about, thanks to the...
Isn't that a challenge, just writing the script, constantly thinking up something original? I mean, is there anything more original left to be said or done?
So at least in stand-up comedy, they say that, I mean, what we personal, like most of my stand-up comedy, if you ever watch me, is a lot of my personal things which have happened in my life, because that's something which has happened to me. It's not happened to anybody else.
Okay.
So nobody can take that away from me, and nobody can. Very difficult for somebody to have that same life experience.
Okay.
And but also, even if it's on the same issue, suppose if it's on yesterday, Sanjay Dutt got released, from his bail, from his jail, and the thing was that again a lot of jokes have started, but as long as you see it from a different view, and you have an angle and an opinion to it, and something funny to it, it is different. It is sometimes, not necessary. Yeah, there are same views may come across, and it happens even in our circle that you have a view and other comedian also comes with the same view, same angle, and then we have to resolve that, so that happens internationally,
Is there something that you have ever picked up on as a social issue, cause, whatever, and that has gone really viral and has really brought about a change? Not just you, maybe in your fraternity. Have you seen something like that happen? Because you are well placed to really talk about these issues without facing the consequences like many of the other common people would. So has that happened, that viral
I don't think that, honestly
speaking,
I mean, I'm not an Amir Khan or somebody who has such number of followers or things like that. But I think things have happened. Even if I can bring these things in a level which affects my family, For example, water. I'm very passionate about water scarcity. And since last many years, I've been saying, it's a rule in my house. I mean, I started telling my children, don't have a bath in the shower. Use a bucket, one bucket, one bath. One person, or one bucket, two baths. Basically.
Do you follow that?
I follow that. I convinced after many years to convince my wife and my children also to do that. Because and I've been continuously, I tweet about it, I write about it, especially about water scarcity. And in this marathon also, I ran with a bucket of water. I mean, with an empty bucket, saying that save water. Even if I could affect 5 people, 6 people who think it's very logical.
Sure.
We'll all look through it. I mean, we know what it is. It's just that we are too lazy to sort of follow it, or we just don't, sort of look at it with much seriousness. So it could be that issue. There are a lot of these things which, to be honest, there's not been such a viral issue which really went viral, and I could tens and thousands of people sort of after hearing me started doing something. No, not really, to be very honest with you. But I think it's still a long way to go, and as we probably gain more followers and people who follow you, I think as long as you're passionate about it and you think there's truth to it, it's a matter of time where people will start following.
Are you writing a book, Atul?
No, not now. I'm not really a writer. I mean, in that terms, and just probably later on, but not.
But if one were to compile all your scripts, which obviously are very, very original, don't you think that itself could become a book?
Yeah, but there should be some thread or to segue to it to sort of get into a book thing. It's not too scattered, probably once.
And if you were to write a book, what would it be on?
I think it would be more on, things like that, like how you, not really a book, but really like a guide on how people should transform, like there's just, in short, that there's one life, do what you can in it, don't, because I've seen people who have been doing the same job, from 18 till the time they retired to the 70s, and they did nothing but that, and I didn't want to do that, I mean, honestly, I used to think somewhere like in my, when I turned 40, I used to think, oh shit, how am I going to die? How am I going to retire? I'm the same job. At one time at 65, 70, I'll probably give this up and then sit at home. And, like it's an interesting story. There's a Nana Nani park in my area.
Yeah.
And I used to go with my daughter when she was young. And in the Nana Nani park, there's a corner there where all these oldies sit over there.
Right.
And they sit and just talk, bitch about everything, bitch about politics, bitch about life, bitch about their daughter-in-laws, whatever, they do that. So I used to tell my daughter every time that, probably after 20 years, I'll be doing this, And then I went into stand-up comedy, and just the other day, my daughter told me, Papa, no, at this age, probably you will be performing it in a CI or some auditorium in New York, entertaining people. So it's how different it has become. Yeah.
But then you're doing very similar things, not in the Nana Nani Park, you're doing it on stage.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Bitching about other things on the stage.
Of course, on the stage. Now you have a license to do it.
Yeah,
so you don't have to worry about that at all,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So it's interesting, actually, some of the takeouts that I would want to, I'm just going to check on time to see if we are good on time, and we do have a couple more minutes. So I'm going to take some of the key points that you talked about and leave that with the audience and see if you want to add something more to that. Transform yourself, right? Clearly, don't do the same job you've been doing all your life. Even if you have to do it, you have to explore.
No, as long as you enjoy it, please go ahead and do it. Yeah.
If you're Johnny Depp, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
He started really young in life, and he's doing pretty well. I don't think he has any reason to.
Yeah, as long as you enjoy your job, I'm saying go and do it.
But also, even if you're enjoying your job, I think that's my personal philosophy. Even if you're enjoying your job, there could be other sides to you haven't explored.
Yeah.
You could actually find other things to enjoy in addition to what you're doing. And therefore, you shouldn't leave that out of it. I think all of us are so multidimensional now that we should explore that side. You had a good platform and CEO's Got Talent where you went and really found your true calling in this as well. And you never know when the true calling is going to come. So try out different things maybe.
Sure. Why
right?
Yeah.
And so that's one. And the other is don't be worried about what kind of means you have to take this forward. Things will fall in place. Things will come your way. Today, social media gives you the platform to really go out there and reach out and do things and reach out to people.
Yeah.
And that's also a platform which can allow you to expand in terms of your orientation. So are you thinking of anything in terms of e-commerce? That's one of the questions actually we got on Twitter today for you. So I thought I should pose this to you. And I said, let me see. Someone wants to know if you're interested in taking on e-commerce forward. Are you thinking of e-commerce?
In terms of the stand-up comedy space, yes. I mean, I don't know, probably things are changing so fast. You never know, probably, I think what may come up in future is that, with now YouTube and all these things getting onto your TV and your intelligent TV and the smart TV or the kind of thing, is that like people are talking to me that, listen, now you put up your stand up on the channel, and you get paid like as a consumer you can pay like 5 rupees per view to watch 15 minutes of Atul Khatri. So you can decide on the spot that I should pay Atul 5 rupees. And somebody got out the economics saying, even if 15% of my subscriber watches you, every year every month you could make like 7.5 lakh rupees just sitting at home, just churning out material and putting it out there.
Just things putting out content out there. And
just put your content out there. And as a consumer, you don't mind paying 5 rupees for 15 minutes of comedy. So it just comes up, you see my stand-up, it goes away. Next time you pay 5 rupees for it, or for some other set. So things are changing. Comedy in demand, things are changing. Things are becoming so fluid. 4G is coming in. So many technology things which are coming in. I think as I told you, social media, it was not there 8 years back, 10 years back. Now it's gone to a different level altogether. You don't know how it's going further. And I'm just keeping my eyes open and saying, okay, let's go ahead.
Here's another googly of a question for you. There's more and more reports about robots doing everything and replacing humans, right? So there are humanoids which are coming up, being employed not just in factories, but we're also talking about robots conducting wars maybe in future, right? So if robots were to actually take on this space and become the stand-up comedians, what are you going to do?
I don't think that'll be, but if they do, I thought they better be funny. And as long as they're funny, I'm sure they will.
You'd be happy to include them in your fraternity of stand-up comedians.
I can tell them to open for me.
Sure, they can open for you.
Yeah.
Right.
But, it's a fun question, but I think it's a long shot, because whatever robots I have seen is those Honda ones who just come during every of the auto expo, come and just with a tray, deliver water and go back. So I have not seen any other robot doing anything beyond delivering a glass of water. So I think stand-up comedy is a long way ahead.
It is a long way ahead. But of course, another last point to really keep in mind, Atul's message, I'll leave it with one more message from him to the audience. And what would you like to say to all of them who are watching you today?
My only thing is, whatever you do, just, put all your hard work in it. Life is, first of all, it's fun. Take it in a different way. I know it's tough also for many of you, but, enjoy your life. If you're studying, I'm saying enjoy these 3 years, 4 years of your study. Make your best friends here and take it. Life is, it's tough, but it's also, easy if you look at it at a different point of view.
So always look at the funny side of it, no matter what life doles out to you. So keep your wit about you and keep your humor in place, and you will enjoy life. That's the message from Atul Khatri. Thank you so much, Atul, for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Totally enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us.
Take care. Bye. See you.